26 budget to be released today. The president reportedly is asking for more than $160 billion in spending cuts from government programs. The president making the case for reconciliation during a prayer event at the White House yesterday. Watch this.
I want to let you know what I was just doing in a really great meeting with Speaker Johnson to be updated on the progress of the one big, beautiful bill. We love that bill. I won't like it if it doesn't pass, neither will you. If it doesn't pass, your taxes are going to go up 68%. So think of it, 68, and this is a religious ceremony to me, but that's part of the religion, because if your taxes go up 68%, you might give up your religion. You might have no choice. You'll be working too hard to try and make it. And that's the Democrats. That's what they'll give you. They'll vote against it. It's not even believable. It's called Trump derangement syndrome.
All right. Meanwhile, House lawmakers are making progress on President Trump's big, beautiful budget bill. At least 7 congressional committees have passed their reconciliation packages out of those committees. I spoke with Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent about the timeline of the bill here yesterday. Watch. You've done a lot of work on that, meeting with congressional lawmakers on this deal. Do you expect the big, beautiful bill to be on the president's desk for signage by July 4th?
Leader Thune said that yesterday, so I have great confidence in him. Speaker Johnson has gotten his side of the building to move with great speed, and he's expecting that the House portion of the bill will be done on or about Memorial Day, so it's moving very quickly. And again, this is President Trump's leadership. I want to commend Speaker Johnson, Leader Thune, and then President Trump's leadership in helping them hold their coalitions together. It's going very well.
Joining me now is Louisiana Senator Bill Cassidy. Senator, thanks so much for weighing in on all of this. So these are aspirational goals, right? The House bill by Memorial Day, the president signing it by July 4th. What do you think?
Well, I don't know if we have to worry about timelines. We just have to worry about making this economy a better economy for average and working Americans. The last 4 years punished them. Inflation went up like this, real income went down like that. The president wants to change that. I don't care if it's 2 weeks this way, 2 weeks that way. The goal is to make this economy a better economy for our fellow Americans.
Yeah, maybe, but you do have to worry about a timeline when you know that the midterm elections are in 2026, right?
Yeah, but that's 2026, and good policy is good politics. And so if we get something that just delivers on President Trump's promise to make our economy which is fairer to the American people, the politics will take care of itself.
So when would you expect a bill on the president's desk then?
Well, again, Maria, you're asking me process. I can imagine it'll be by August the 1st, but as long as it's this year, I am okay with it.
Okay, well, the key number, I think, is 3, right? I mean, the House cannot afford to lose more than 3 Republicans. The Senate can't afford to lose more than 3 GOP senators to pass this bill, which could be the largest in history. Do you think you'll be able to do that? Do you have the votes?
Well, show us the final bill. But if you make the kind of bottom line, let's make an economy which is fair for the American people, in which we see made in America more often in the United States, but we also see made in America products more often in other countries, in which we are having more jobs with better pay in our country, then I think that will eventually happen. I can't tell you the exact timeline, but that's the goal.
Okay, well, Made in America is good, but you know what also is good is spending cuts. And your colleagues want to spend money to extend the tax cuts and execute President Trump's agenda, but it's going to cost money. So where are the cuts in the Senate identified?
Well, so you're asking me now to prejudge a process that we're in the middle of. And one of the things you do in these committee hearings, you say, wait a second, is this fat? Let's just get rid of the fat. But is this good? Is this kind of, if you will, marrow and bone and muscle? We want to preserve that. That's the process you go through. If it takes a little bit longer, that's the reason it's taking a little bit longer. I'll go back to my theme, though. If we're creating an economy which works better for the American people, that's President Trump's promise, then that's the process you have to go through to separate the fat from the good stuff.
Well, this is all very practical comments that you're making, and I agree with all of that. But why is it that the House was able to identify $1.5 trillion in cuts and the Senate was only able to identify $4 billion in cuts?
That's total process. because it's just total process, just in terms of how we're going to deliver it. But the committee I head, the Help Committee, we've identified $300 billion in cuts. So that's just the committee that I head. And so I know the other committees are doing the same because I actually serve on one or two of those other committees. So those cuts will be made.
Do you think you'll be able to get at least $1 trillion in cuts all in all?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, let's imagine. You mean in our government, there's not like $1 trillion of stuff that shouldn't be going out the door?
That's right.
Not stuff essential to having a better economy for our fellow Americans, but stuff that just kind of like, goes to this person to his particular benefit, but not for the rest of us. Yeah, we can identify that.
Yeah, but I always get afraid when I see politics getting in the way. For example, I feel like no matter how many cuts you bring to the table, Mitch McConnell is never going to agree to anything President Trump wants. Am I right?
Well, I can't speak for Mitch. All I can say is our goal is to have an economy which is fair for the American people. Part of that is to make sure that we preserve the good programs. Part of that is to make sure that we control out-of-control government spending. And I think all of us are committed to that. I can't speak for one or the other, but that's part of having an economy which is fair for the American people.
So President Trump bringing in a record $8 trillion in new money into America, he said, in just this first 100 days of his second term. Wow. The president held a White House event welcoming the world's top business leaders this week to celebrate what he called the strongest private sector response in U.S. history. How important is that? You were at the event. Tell us more about that. You've seen record investments in your state, certainly in Louisiana, right?
Pretty exciting, like a $5.7 billion investment by Hyundai Steel in Ascension Parish, Louisiana, creating thousands of construction jobs, thousands of permanent jobs. Similarly, Venture Global with, I think, a multi-billion-dollar project, and Woodside Energy with another multi-billion-dollar project in my state alone. That fulfills the goal of better jobs, a better economy for working Americans. And they weren't the only two or three there. There were people, other companies, similarly announcing projects totaling billions of dollars. So I think the president, again, trying to create that economy which works better for our fellow American. It was a good event showing how he's creating that economy.
What about this skinny budget that the president is going to release today? He's considering pulling future federal grants from Harvard over anti-Israel protests on campus as the university fights the administration's move to freeze billions in federal funding. Senator, you're helping lead that fight against anti-Semitism on college campuses. Thank you for that. But the president's also pulling money from, NPR and PBS in this skinny budget. What can you tell us?
Well, he announced that budget that morning, so give me a chance to review that. But the president and I are both committed to eliminating anti-Semitism. And we just had a markup which we have to complete at a future date, but in which we are aware of the fact that there were students after the October 7th massacre in which we thought we were going to come together as a country. Instead, there are people who began to express anti-Semitic attitudes, chasing Jewish students into a room, for example, and pounding on the door, threatening them. We need to stop that. We need to hold those universities accountable. We need to give the students the tools they need so that they could file a protest, a complaint, should that again happen. So we're on that track, and the president's committed to that, too.
Thank you so much for that. We all are very concerned about this anti-Semitism spike this year and last year in America. Let me get back to this X date, because the debt ceiling X date is something people are worried about. If this first actual hard deadline is missed in the big, beautiful bill, what happens in terms of the X date on the debt? Well,
usually the Treasury has the ability to extend an X date. But there is a deadline. At some point, we've got to address this. And ideally, as the president's trying to build this economy which is fair for the American people, we both are managing to preserve the good stuff, to raise the debt ceiling, which we have to just to pay our indebtedness, but also to cut the spending and put us on a long-term trajectory where we're controlling our debt. And that's one of the reasons it takes a little bit longer, but that's part of creating an economy which is better for our fellow Americans.
Senator, this was a really good back and forth. I appreciate your time and your leadership on all of this. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Maria.
All right, Senator Bill Cassidy this morning in New York. Stay with us. We'll be right back.